going to sow today are some beetroot. Now beetroot come in all sorts of different varieties. Mostly they are usually sort of red, but you can get some yellow coloured ones as well. You can also get some ones that are pink on the outside, and then when you cut through them you have concentric circles. You have a pink circle and then a white circle and a pink and a white and so on until you get to the centre. Absolutely gorgeous. So it is entirely up to you which ones you want. You can you can grow the round ones or you can grow the long ones. It's up to you. But the variety that I'm going to sow today are called sorbetto, and these can be sown outside. You can actually sow them inside to start with if you want, and then transplant them outside. But I usually just plant them straight outside in situ in your raised bed or in the soil, and they're absolutely fine. They're very robust seeds, so they're absolutely fine for planting straight outside. Now you can sow them directly outside anytime from like mid-March all the way through to middle of July, and they will stay in the soil over the winter, and then you can still harvest them the following year. Make sure that they don't start to sprout, because then they start to go woody on the second year. But it's very, very easy to sow them, so let me show you how I sow mine. Now here I have got a line. This is an old washing line. If you don't have an old washing line, you can always use a bit of garden string. And all you need to do is you need to just turn over the soil, just using the trowel. Just go down about 2 inches and just turn it over. If there are any weeds in the soil, remove them. If there are any large stones, remove those as well. When you've turned over the soil, what you then need to do is you need to make a little sort of trough, just a very little one. Use the trowel and just scoop out some of the soil just to one side. This little trough only needs to be about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch deep. So I'll carry on and I'll go all the way along my line, and when I've done that, then I'll come back and show you. Now that I've dug the trough all the way along, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to water in that trough. Now the reason I do this is a few reasons. The first is that it then levels out the soil in the trough. If there are any lumps and bumps, it'll smooth it out. And also, when you sow the seeds, they're then directly and immediately in contact with water, so they start to germinate just a little bit quicker. Also, if you're sowing fairly light seeds, if it's a windy day and if there's water down the bottom, once you've sown the seeds, they'll actually stick to it, so they won't actually blow away. So once the water has drained through, all you need to do now is to sow the seeds. Now all beetroot seeds look exactly the same. It doesn't matter what variety you're growing, they all look exactly the same. Basically they're quite knobbly. It's the only way to describe them really. There they are there. I hope you can see those. You can see that they are really quite knobbly. So what you want to do is you want to put some in your hand, and then you want to take your finger and your thumb and just take a few. And then you need to move your finger and thumb backwards and forwards, and you just need to move your hand along. You want to have a couple of seeds together, and then you want to have, I mean, this isn't exact. If you have 3 seeds together and then you have a space of 3 inches, then that's fine, it doesn't matter, but it's just a rough guide. Couple of seeds together every couple of inches, but you don't have to be completely pedantic about this. Beetroots are ready to eat whatever size they are, so it's not like you have to wait for them to ripen. So you can eat them quite small.
If you do find that you've got quite a few growing close together, you can always eat some of them and then it will give the others a little bit more space. So I'll carry on sowing these seeds, and when I've finished, I'll come back to you. Right, now once you've sown your seeds, all you need to do is to gently push that soil back over the seeds, gently level it off. Don't pat it down, just push it over very, very gently. And then make sure that you put a label in one end, and what I usually do is I put a stick at the end of each of the line, one at the beginning and one at the end, so that when I'm watering, I know exactly where the line begins and ends. And hopefully in a couple of weeks they should start poking through the soil, and when they do, I will show you. Well, that's how I sow my beetroot. If you want to sow more than one line, then just make sure that there's about 6 inches between each line. If you want to allow a little bit more space between each line, then by all means do, but you won't need to leave any more than like 9 inches between each line. Depends how big you want your beetroot to get. If you want to grow a massive one and show it off at a fair, you know, sometimes they have a category for the ugliest vegetable or the heaviest beetroot or whatever. If you want to you know, grow a really large one, then I would suggest leaving a little bit more space, but 6 inches between each row is absolutely fine. Well, I hope you grow some beetroot this year. They really are very, very nice. I like them roasted, and Mark likes them as well. In fact, usually I actually just grow them for him because he really does like them. Well, I hope you found what I've shown you interesting, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.